He hadn't expected to go. For years, Elliot had kept his distance from anything remotely festive. Since the death of his wife, he'd grown accustomed to silence, entering rooms expecting nothing more than the absence of conversation. A blind date during the holidays felt laughable, like wrapping grief in glitter and pretending it belonged at the party. But Marianne, his longtime assistant, had left a flyer on his desk weeks ago. Beneath it, she had written only one line. "You once said you wanted a quiet Christmas. Maybe start by sitting across from someone kind." He hadn't thrown it away. And tonight, for reasons he couldn't fully explain, he arrived at the cafe. The clock ticked forward. 10 minutes. Then 20, 35. The candle at his table had burned low. The hot chocolate, untouched, had long gone cold. Around him, diners laughed. Forks clinked against plates, servers moved from table to table with practiced rhythm. But Elliot sat alone, unmoved by it all, waiting. The staff began to notice. A server whispered to another. A hostess peeked from behind her podium, concern in her expression. Still no one came to sit across from him. There were no calls, no excuses, just silence. "Maybe she bailed," someone muttered. But Elliot remained still, his gaze resting on the snowy streets outside. He looked neither angry nor forlorn, just certain in a quiet kind of way, as if convinced the night hadn't ended yet. When a young waiter approached, hesitant, offering to reschedule, Elliot looked up and smiled gently. "I think she will arrive," he said. The server blinked, surprised by the calm in his tone, and stepped back. Then the door opened, letting in a gust of cold wind and a swirl of snowflakes. A woman entered, breathless, clutching a small boy sleeping against her shoulder. Her hair was damp from the storm, her cheeks flushed pink. Her coat was thin and, though worn, was buttoned carefully. Her eyes scanned the room, pausing when they landed on him. Lena, Elliot, rose from his seat, the only table without food, laughter, or company. He did not seem startled, not even relieved. Just steady. "I'm so sorry," Lena said softly, barely louder than the background jazz. "My son had a fever. I couldn't leave him. I wasn't even sure I should still come." Her voice faltered as she glanced toward the door. "If this is too strange, I can go." Elliot stepped closer and replied, "I figured there would be a reason, and I'm not in a hurry." He gestured to the chair opposite his. "Please sit." She adjusted the sleeping boy in her arms and lowered herself carefully into the seat. Every movement was gentle, deliberate. Elliot signaled for warm water and asked for an extra blanket. He shrugged off his coat and draped it over the back of her chair. For a while, neither spoke. Then, brushing damp strands from her face, Lena murmured, "I almost didn't come. My friend gave me the ticket. Said maybe I should believe in something good, even if it's just for one night." Elliot listened, not with the distracted air of someone waiting for their turn to speak, but with the full presence of someone who truly cared. She glanced at her worn jeans and scuffed boots. "I didn't dress for a date. Didn't even manage lipstick." Elliot smiled gently. "That's all right." "Neither did I," she laughed, quiet, tired, but genuine. The little boy, Noah, stirred slightly, coughing. Without a word, Elliot pulled a tissue and a small stuffed bear from his coat pocket. "I didn't know who I'd be meeting," he said, offering both to her. "But I brought this just in case." She stared at the bear, surprised. "You thought there might be a kid?" "I thought someone might bring part of their world with them." It caught her off guard. No judgment, no sighs, just acceptance. Noah curled against the toy. "I didn't mean to make this weird," Lena said. "You didn't." The candle flickered between them, casting gentle shadows. "I don't have much to say," she admitted. "No fancy stories. Just diapers, part-time work, and a 4-year-old who hates green peas." Elliot replied simply, "Sounds pretty real to me." Something in his voice unraveled a thread she didn't realize she'd been holding tight. She expected awkwardness, maybe pity. Instead, she found quiet warmth. She adjusted Noah's blanket. Elliot watched her, noticing how every move she made spoke of care, not performance. She wasn't polished, wasn't trying to impress. And that, he thought, that was exactly why he was. Then she shared more. About the night fevers. About delivering food after long shifts. About rent and medicine and cartoon drawings on lunchboxes. She paused, then added, "I lost my mom 3 years ago on Christmas Eve. It was sudden. She was my only help." Elliot's hand paused on his cup. "My wife passed on Christmas morning 4 years ago. Long illness. I thought I was prepared. I wasn't. She met his eyes. The room around them faded. She confessed she used to hate Christmas, but she didn't want her son to inherit that pain. Elliot said nothing at first. Then finally he spoke. I haven't opened up to anyone since she died, not because I didn't want to feel again, but because I thought feeling would betray her memory. But tonight reminded me, love doesn't return through perfection. It comes through honesty. Lena's eyes brimmed. I didn't bring anything tonight. Just the truth. Elliot looked at her. That's more than enough. They ate soup, ordered hot chocolate. Noah shifted now and then, but mostly slept. The snow outside thickened into a quiet hush. Lena reached for her wallet, but Elliot stopped her. Let me. Not for the food, but for a night I'll remember. Not because of what we ate, but because you stayed. The word stayed hit her like nothing else had. No one had ever made her feel that showing up exhausted, late, and messy was enough. Thank you, she whispered. Noah stirred and blinked up at Elliot. Are you Mommy's friend? He asked sleepily. You smile nicer than Santa. Lena flushed. Elliot chuckled. Then I guess I need a red hat. Lena smiled through the emotion. It wasn't a perfect evening, but it was real. A week later, at a community center event, Lena spotted him. Elliot, standing on a ladder stringing lights, laughing with teens, no suit in sight. Noah ran to him and hugged his leg. Elliot beamed, knelt down, and joked about unfinished gingerbread cookies. Lena approached cautiously. This is unexpected, she said. Is it? Elliot replied, I help out here when I can. When she pointed out the commute, he simply smiled. I had business in the neighborhood. The next day she returned from work to find a paid hospital bill, her mother's. No signature, only a card that read, Sometimes kindness does not need credit. Just hope it reaches the right place. She knew it was him. Her emotions swirled, relief, shame, anger. Was it pity? She called him. Did you pay my mom's bill? He paused, then replied, Yes. I didn't ask you to. I know. Do you think I can't manage my life? I think you've managed too much, too long alone. She didn't respond. I don't see someone weak, he continued. I see someone who holds up a whole world. I just wanted to stand behind you, not save. Just support, her voice cracked. No one's ever said that to me. I meant it. For the first time in a long while, she didn't feel alone. One day in a bookstore, she saw his face on a magazine cover. Foresight Group CEO Elliot Hart to expand philanthropic efforts in 2025. She read the article, stunned. Billion-dollar ventures. Visionary leader. And yet she remembered the man who waited with hot chocolate and hope. At a charity summit that night, she watched from the back as Elliot spoke. 3 years ago, I stopped believing in holidays. I lost my wife. But someone walked into my life late, tired, carrying a child, and reminded me that love doesn't come dressed in perfection. She wept silently, then left before he could see her. That night, she wrote a note on brown paper. You gave me something beautiful, but I don't belong in your world. Thank you for reminding me it still has beauty. She left it in his mailbox. But New Year's Eve brought something new, a package at her door. Inside, designer tools, sketch pencils, swatches, a miniature model board. At the bottom, a blueprint titled Lena's Start, a community studio space. And a note. If the road is hard to walk alone, let someone pave the first steps. Keep building. The world needs your light. Noah saw the doodle in the corner, a reindeer just like Elliot had drawn. That's the nice man's deer, he whispered.